Welcome back, and let's look at some other opportunities. And whoa, I just said, listen, let's see if we can maybe find some buying opportunities. Wow, look at Anglo American's chart here. Anglo American Platinum. Can you believe it? It was in December, it was a 1,740 Rand share, and it's now down to 1,247. Wow, that's a little bit of a sell off here. But let's see if we can find a buying opportunity for the viewer that asked about it. I mean, ugly sell-off here. I mean, look at that beautiful shooting star warned you right at the top that something is on the boil, maybe to sell it. And a shooting star is always a warning candle to say to you that the share maybe rallied a little bit too far. And what happened since then? It was just sold off aggressively. But now it looks a little bit different to me. Look at this beautiful sell-off, but then look at this nice bullish engulfing candle. That is a strong candle after this ugly sell-off. I mean, by the way, this is 3 dark crows, and after the 3 dark crows, we saw a beautiful, strong bullish candle. That is bullish to me. So for me, if you are a medium-term investor and you're looking for a little bit of a better place to enter and you don't want to take that much risk, let's use that trend line. That trend line still tells you that the momentum is to the downside. It looks a little bit negative, but above 1,269, let's call it 1,270 Rand, this line can maybe turn into a beautiful support line and change the trend. Let's have a look here. There's also a falling wedge, and that is a bullish pattern anyway. A falling wedge usually tells you that we can see a relief bounce. Look what happened. It on this support line, it gave us this beautiful bullish candle. That is positive to me. So if you are a trader, maybe that top of that bullish engulfing candle will already maybe give you a little bit of an opportunity. Let's have a look here. There you are. And that is above 1,247.74. This candle tells you if it goes above that, that buyers there are quite happy with their purchase and they are holding onto the stock. And my stop loss, of course, will be the low of this candle, and that will be 1,195 Rand. But boy, oh boy, we've got plenty targets to the upside if this share starts to go. I mean, let's call it out for you a little bit. There you are, 127,418, 1,292.26. 1,330.72, and the first proper resistance will be the high of that little hanging man that we saw there. I mean, that will be at 1,347 Rand. I mean, that's 100 Rand from here. So it just shows you this looks like an opportunity. Maybe just put it on the sidelines and see if you can maybe get hold of it. But massive sell-off here. This looks like to me that there is an opportunity. All the others were warnings and maybe a double top and a rising wedge, but this one, beautiful falling wedge, strong bullish engulfing candle, that looks positive to me. KKR International. Let's have a look there. Also listed on a New York Stock Exchange. Well, there's a warning again. Beautiful rally here from 45.19 to 59.10. I mean, there's a beautiful shooting star formation, but it came back quickly, bounce up there. But for me, quite simple. And remember, this is a daily chart. I will look at, let's have a look here at this support line. If I'm a short-term investor, I will say the moment it breaks below this line, that will be $57.51. The chart will warn me, because then I will see maybe it can go down, because what do we see as well? We see an ascending channel. Now, an ascending channel usually is a warning formation. It just tells you that while we're in this channel, it's still very bullish. Nothing is wrong with it. You can be happy, but when it breaks out of this channel, you can maybe see some sell-off here. But we in this channel, maybe we can go back to that $60.70. But for me, the moment that support line turns into a resistance for KKR, that will look a little bit negative for me. Well, let's have a look at the weekly chart here. Because, I mean, after such a rally, well, there you can see. Yeah, I always look at the shadows here, and there's the shadows giving us a beautiful guideline. That's the line that tells you that the trend is still wonderfully to the upside. But look what happened here. In the 2 previous weeks, look at this higher shadow here and another higher shadow there. That tells you that there was some guys selling into strength. They waited for the share to go up and then they sold it off all the way to the downside. Same thing there, wait for it to went up, sold it down all the way. By the way, how do you see a bullish candle forming? A bullish candle is, let's use this one. There's the open, there's the real body, that green piece, there's the real body, there's the opening line of the share, that little shadow there to the bottom, let's maybe take that out just to show you, that little bottom there, that is the low of the session. And where did it close? It went all the way up to the top, closed right at the top. And where was the high of the session? That little blip there on the top. That's why it's important to me. If I look at that shadow, what does that shadow tells me? There was the open, there was the close, and the high was there. Look what happened. Right at the high, they sold it down to close there. And that just tells you that there was some sellers selling into strength. So be a little bit careful on KKR. It can maybe surprise you to the downside. Let's have a look at Brookline Bancorp. And that's another banking share. It looks like everybody was into the banking shares here, or financial shares. Well, let's have a look here. Wow. Suddenly there was a seller there. I mean, $15.49. It sold it right down. I mean, but for the viewer that maybe wants to buy it, let's have a look here. And remember, this is a weekly chart once again. There's maybe I just want to get a line here. Sorry, there you are. Let's just do that extension there. There's still a bit of work to be done here before we can say that this is an inverse head and shoulder. There's the left shoulder. There's the beautiful head. Look what happened here. There was the right shoulder and it bounced off there. It almost played out to the T in 1 week and then it sold off again. For me, when I look at the share with these kind of mixed candles where you cannot get some nice clarity, the best is to wait for this neckline, because this neckline also represents a resistance line. Every time that the share gets into the area of $14.31, there is some sellers around here. So for me, quite simple, it must go above 14.31 to give me a move to the upside. Below that line, unfortunately, it is negative. So if you want to buy it, wait for a weekly close above 14.31. Where will be my stop loss? You can either use that as your stop loss, that low of that bearish candle, $13.37. But most technical analysts will say use this one as your stop loss. But wow, a $3 stop loss on this share is a little bit much. For me personally, I will look at some other opportunities to get involved with. This one shows me some mixed signals. And the best is, if it shows you some mixed signals, just sit on the sidelines. Let's have a look at Durban Roodepoort Deep. Now, you will see that I'm still on a weekly chart, but what I usually do when I look at gold shares, I immediately go to daily charts. But let's have a look at the daily chart here so that we can have a view. Why do we go to daily charts when we look at gold shares? Because they are just so volatile. Sometimes you believe that it can give you a good signal on a weekly chart, and just the next week it looks a little bit different. But look at this. I mean, from October, from R8.64, can you believe it? It rallied all the way up to $14.80. Well, it had a beautiful breather here. If you want to buy it, for me, first of all, I will do exactly the same again. I will use my resistance line. I will say to myself, while it is below this resistance line, it is negative for the share. And what do I see here? I see a tiny little gap here. Now, usually what you know is when this gap is open. While this gap is open, let's just show viewers here. While this gap is open, the momentum to the downside is still in place. So you need this gap to close, and then by then you will also see that this resistance line turned into a support. Now, where's that gap? That gap sits between R13.87 and the low of that candle is R13.93. So for me, will I buy it? I will only buy it for a very short-term view because we had already a wonderful rally. I will wait for that resistance line to turn into a support. My stop loss will be The low of that candle, that will be 13.44. Where's my targets? First of all, this gap needs to close, and then my targets will be 14 Rand 12 cents, 14 Rand 24, 14 Rand 28, and maybe, can you believe it, you can maybe go back to that high of 14 Rand 75 in time to come. But I think maybe, as we say in Afrikaans, a little bit mosterd na die mal. We may be a little bit late, but we never know with gold shares. It can maybe surprise us to the upside again. Let's have a look at Sappi, another commodity company in South Africa. And we can maybe see a nice rally there. I just want to see if I can get the share quickly. There you are, Sappi. Okay, let's, whoa. This is a strong candle. Can you believe that? I mean, whoa, that is scary. I mean, from 56 Rand to 47 Rand in a matter of a few days. But look at this ugly bearish candle. This bearish candle tell you that on those days there were some ugly sellers. I mean, it opened up at 53.60 and it closed close to 49 Rand. I mean, that's serious stuff. But what do we see here? Of course, out of a trader's perspective, you see a waterfall formation here. Usually it gives you a little bit of a bounce. Our time is almost out, but where will it give me an opportunity to get in on the long side? 48.30, that's the high of that candle. My stop loss will be 47.11 and my targets to the top 48.92, 49.62 and maybe up to 51 Rand and 16 cents. Well guys, we're out of time. Thank you for watching the show. Enjoy the rest of your week. Visit our website www.fransdeklerk.com for more info, and let's chat again.